Am I audible clearly? Hello. Please give a reply.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Saraj. Okay. Just give me a couple of minutes. As Monday and Tuesday are like very busy days for me, so that is where I haven't completed this installation. Just give me for some time. I'll complete this one. Meanwhile, like if you have any doubts, you just please continue. Okay. We'll do one thing. There is one more concept which is pending from my end. That is life cycle hook. As I told you, like which is mostly of the theory part. So we will cover that particular one. I mean, before we are going to start about it, first I'll explain you like how do we work with that one and what exactly here it is going to be. So for that, I'm open my Visual Studio. Right. So the next one is going to be life cycle hooks. Component life cycle hooks, that what I can give. So the name itself, it stands for whenever a component is going to be created, we are going to interact with the component with the help of data binding mechanism. That means like we will be doing what? Either the one-way data binding or two-way data binding, either by using a property binding or by using an attribute binding. We are able to communicating with the component and modify the state of the component. And once if the component is going to be rendered into the HTML, then what we are doing, we'll be releasing the memory of that particular component as well. That means from the component loading, to till we unload the component, every component will undergo different stages, and that is known as a component life cycle hook. Component life cycle, generally what we call it as component life cycle. That means from the time when the component is loaded and once if the component is going to be destroyed, in between the stage that what we are having, and that's what we call it as a component life cycle. Now each life cycle stage, we have like different functions that are available. Those functions are nothing but the hooks. Okay, those functions are nothing but the hooks. That means for each stage, to handle, we have different methods are available. Different methods are available. Like what are the different methods are available? You can see the first one is going to be ng on changes is available. This is the one method that we are having. And after that, ng on init is available. And after that, ng do check is available. And at the same time, ng after view init is available. And after that, you can see ng after view checked is available. Okay, ng after view checked is available. After that, ng after content init is available. And then we have ng after content checked is available. And then finally ng destroy is available. That's it. So that means each and every stage, that means the component will undergo to the different stages, and each and every stage, to handle it, we have different methods are available. Those methods are nothing but the component life cycle hooks. Each hook is a method that what we are having, and that will automatically executes. You need not to execute explicitly by your own. It automatically executes. That is how it is going to be. That means all the above methods are executed automatically, even if we are not calling it explicitly. That means if you are not calling or calling, that doesn't matter at all. Automatically, what are all the methods we have here, these are going to be executed internally. That means whenever the component is going to be created and whenever the component usage is done, then at that particular stage in between, all these methods are going to be executed. And these methods, each method is having its own way of like, that execution. Let's say I'll open a Google. Let's open the Google. Sorry. I'll open the Google here. Now you can see component life cycle in Angular. If you can go. Now you see we will be having component life cycle hook. And there you can observe that. What are all the methods. But most of the time, this is theory part. So that is the reason I don't want to write like, all the theory. Okay, in my notes, just it's always like, the better to go with by your own, the theory part, like whatever we are having. Now, if you can see, ng on changes is the first method that what we are having. When it is going to be executed, you can observe that. So the purpose of that one is going to be respond when the Angular sets or resets the data bound input property. The method receives a simple changes object of the current and previous values. And you can see here, this happens very frequently. So any operation that you perform here impact performance significance. That means, let's say ng on changes, like, one that what we are having, what it will do is for every change that you made it in the component, that is going to be tracked by this particular method. Suppose, let's say I have a component, and where in the component I am having a text box. Inside the text box, suppose, let's say if I modify any value, for each keystroke or for every modification, automatically this will be called. I will show you a simple one. Let's go to the sample application. Okay, let's do one thing. Here. I'll go to my setup completed. Close. Just a minute. I'm not sure 2019 is installed with SQL Server or not, local. Okay. Right. Now you can see what I just want to do is I'll create a new example over here. NGG, and then I just wanted to create an application, and the name of the application is going to be component life cycle is the application that what I'll be creating. And if you wanted to include the routing mechanism, you can, or else you can say no as well. And the style sheet format is going to be CSS that what I can give. And then, okay, it's done. Now you can just go to here. Let me open that Visual Studio Code, and you can see it's a component communication. And where it is? Right below we have the component life cycle, and there I have an SRC, there I have an app folder, and here we have the app.html that we are having, and I'm still removing it. First, let's create a component over here. I'll remove like all these PowerShell. These are not required, these many. Let me remove everything. Now here, okay, I'll remove this one. I'll right click and then open with that integrated terminal. And here what I can do is, let me create a new component over there. So that ng-g-c for the component, maybe the component name is going to be app hyphen, home is the component, skip hyphen test, that what I can say. Oh, sorry. Yeah, PowerShell command. Okay. Let's say ngg-c for the component, and the name of the component is going to be home component that what I have created over there, and a hyphen skip hyphen test. Have you run that ng build, ng test command in your mission yesterday? Just try that one. Okay. Even after session also I'll be available. Don't worry. But as because of some settings are changed over here, I need to sit on that in order to get it back. But you know that Monday and Tuesday, 2 days I have an office. I never open this laptop also. Once if the sessions are done, that even like still today also we have couple of pending. Otherwise by today I thought of like completing everything. Okay. Anyhow, tomorrow also we have session. But tomorrow, like we will understand mostly like how to interact with that, how a JWT is going to be created. Each and everything will be discussed. But before that, like you need to be ready with the test cases. One thing is I'm not showing you with execution, that is testing. Just you can download it and run that npm install command so that it will install all the node module, and then just type ng test. so that it will give you all the test cases to you. That part you can try. So, okay, let it be. Now you can see I have a home component. Now the home component is having app-home is the name. Now what I want to do, I wanted to execute this particular one from here. Now tell me, app component is going to be the parent one now, and from the parent I'm creating what? The child, I'm calling the child component or not? Yes or no? I'm calling the child component, that is the home component. That means here it is the parent and home component is going to be the child component, that what we are having. Now, if you can come back to this one, this part, what an ng on changes will do? Response when Angular sets are reset, the data bound input property, the method receive simple changes object of the current and the previous property values that we are having. Now what I can do here is, suppose let's say I'll be creating a simple member here that is going to be test, that what I can say is equal to, let me give life cycle or something, life cycle, let's say test, that what I can give, and save this application and go to the home component, and here I'll be taking @ input, and what with what name we have created here, I created here test, so that what I can do, I'll be having @ input decorator, and we have the name as going to be what? Test, that what we are having, and the type as going to be, let me take, otherwise I'll be giving any as the type. That's it. Now @ input is available in Angular/core library, so that I can give it over there. Now you can see, if you can observe that whatever, like, I have created an input, that means I'm able to get and I'm able to show it over here. This is how it is going to be. Now, when this is going to be, as I told you, you can see response when Angular sets or resets the data bound property of an data bound input property, and also it uses the simple changes method. Now, when it is going to be called before when ng on init. So far, like we have taken ng on init many cases. Whenever if you are connecting with the server, whenever if you are connecting with the services that you people have created, or else from the fetch API, whenever if you are getting the data, on init is going to be called. If the component has bound property, input property, and whenever one or more data bound input properties are changed, then ng on changes will be called. Okay, ng on changes will be called. That means whenever if you people are having ng on changes, first it will be called. If you are not having any input property, then automatically what is the first call? Ng on init is going to be the first call for us. Now what I want to do here, you can see, let me come back to my application, that what I am having. Now what I want to do is, let's go to the home component, and here I'll be writing something like ng on init also. Ng on init, that what I'll be writing. Now you can see, even though we have an ng on init, and before that I'll be taking a constructor also, because like we will understand the flow. I'm just writing here console.log. This is a constructor. This is a constructor, that what I can give. And at the same time here, let me write another console.log, that what I can give. This is on init, otherwise ng on init life cycle hook, that what I can give. That's it. So now here you can see I have a constructor. I have a constructor where my constructor is having just a simple welcome message, that is, this is constructor or something. And after that, I used an ng on init over here, and here I'm writing something like that. Now you can see I'll be using ng on changes is available, and this is also available. You can see it is also available under the core library only. You need not to include anything because it's an automated process. You need not to do anything it over there. And it doesn't matter that whether you have written above that on init or above the constructor or below that on init or below the constructor. Whatever the way you people can write, it doesn't matter. The way that what I have given you in the notes, you can see the way that what I have mentioned here, same way it get executed. ng on init, ng on changes, ng on init, ng do check, and ng after content in it, after view in it, like that it get executed one by one line. It doesn't matter that whether you follow while you're doing the program, but by default it get execute. Now what I can do, I'm just I'll do one thing. Let's go to the tab.component.ts. Maybe what I can do is I'll be giving the title over here. Instead of giving that, let's give the title, because like it is expecting to pass what the variable name. So that is where I'll just pass the variable name which I have created it over there. Just I'm giving some title over there. Now when this is going to be executed, now you see, just run this application where we are having app component.ts, and in the home component I'll be using console.log. This is ng on changes. This is ng on changes lifecycle hook. Now you can observe that still it is loading. Okay, you can observe that I'll be running this application. Maybe I'll go to my component lifecycle and go to that integrated terminal and use the cmd ng yes -o if I'll be giving. Right. Now you can see, if you can right click and go to that inspect, and if you can see that console, first which one will be executed, I'll just give a magnifier. Now you see, I'll just give a magnifier over there and see here, this is first which one will be executed, constructor, and after that, even though I'm writing below that on changes, automatically it executes or not. ng on changes will get executed, and after that only ng on init will get executed. Like that, any number of methods that you people can write, it doesn't matter, and any order that you can follow, then automatically it gets changed. Now what I just want to do is, let me just show you a simple way. That is, I'll stop that execution. I'll stop that execution. Now what I want to do in app component.ts, okay, app component HTML, this is what we are having. Okay, let's do one thing. This title that what we are having, I wanted to get it from the page itself, so that let's give a break tag, and then I'm going to take an input, and the type is going to be text that what I can use. Input type is going to be the text that what I can use, and I don't need to have like name and all the property, where I can go with ng model that what I can use. Ng model is equal to we will be having the title that what I can use. Now if you can give ng model, then you must and should include which module? Which module has to be? Tell me. Forms module. Very good. We'll be including the forms module so that we don't have any issues. Now the requirement is going to be, whenever user has modified this one, then I'm going to assign this value, and in the home component, we are able to get that particular value into this test, right? We are able to get the value into the tag, so that in the home component HTML, I'll be opening, and then let me give a simple paragraph or something, and I just wanted to give the title or something. What I am giving here, what is the name? Test. I'm sorry. Here I'll be giving what? Test, that what I can give, and save this application. What happened? Save this application. Now you can just come back here whenever if I'm okay. I stop the debugging. Just let me rerun that application one more time. Go to the view, and there we have the terminal. Okay, open a terminal. I guess from here component lifecycle hook ng yes -o, that what I can give. What change I have done? Oh. Right. Now you can see component life cycle. When I come back here and go to that inspect, right now this is how it is going to be. Now you see the time when I'm modifying it, you see ng on changes will get executed or not. You can just observe that. I'll be using the magnifier one more time, just for like, for the zooming effect. Let me execute it. And here you can see ng on changes life cycle hook. That means that method is called. When it is going to be called, whenever that input property value is going to be changed. Suppose let's say if I'll be removing this one, there you can see it will become as fourth time call, right? Whenever if you can remove the C, that means I'm changing that input property so that you can see it will become as a fifth time. That means for every stage, there are like certain methods are available, and those methods are going to be automatically executed. That is all about the component life cycle. Now, which method is going to be executed at what time, that you can identify in this particular table. That means we have like, around 10 to 15 method, and each method is having its own important. At that particular time, it automatically executes. You need not to wait for like, some time to execute that particular one. It's an automatic process. You need not to do anything. That is how it is going to be. Now you can see how like, you can change detection. ng on changes. Suppose let's say if you can write like, the same code, maybe I'll be copying that. Now you can see ng on changes, you can observe that it is having like one property or one parameter, that is the simple changes is the one. Now what I can do here, I'll be using ng on changes where I can use simple changes, and simple changes is available on the core library. And you can observe that what I can do is I'm going to copy paste the logic that what we are having. Let's copy that, and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, I'm going to paste it over there. Now change log is available where it is going to push. Now what is change log here? Just a minute. They created the change log. Generally change log. Okay. Constant dot previous value. Okay, constant dot current value. Okay, both are available. Let me take, let's say, a simple console.log. Okay, I'll be using previous value, and I'm just writing. Instead of using that, I'll go with the backtick syntax. Okay, and here I am using the current, and previous value is going to be, let's go with the dollar, and I'll be giving previous. Now you see what I have done. it is compiled successfully. And at the same time, okay, at the same time, now you can see I'll be coming here right now. What is the previous value? You can, sorry, I made it separate. Okay, current value and the previous value. Now you can see generally like the purpose of that one is going to be used to identify what would be the previous and the what would be the current value. Now what I am trying to do, you can observe that when I just execute this one, now you see what is the previous current value, component life cycle, what is the previous value, that is undefined, nothing is available. But the time when I'm changing the value, let's say I'll be removing E. Now you see what happened. Current value is going to be this one and previous value is going to be this one. When I change the value one more time, now you see again it will be called current value is going to be this one and previous value is going to be this one. That means for every simple change, it automatically execute. That is the reason whatever the code you people wants to write inside that ng on changes, you should be very much careful about it, because if it execute for each and every change, then it will be an impact on the performance, right? That is what they mentioned here in the documentation. You can just observe that when I go to here, now you can see what they are doing. You can see that this happens very frequently. So any operation you perform here impacts the performance significantly. Okay, whatever like you people have written, you should be taken care of it, whether it really requires or not. Otherwise, don't write anything on ng on changes. It is not at all required. Every methods are available, but it is not matter that like we must have to use it. Okay, because we need to take care of like the significant. If your component has no input or you use it without providing any input, the framework will not call what ng on changes. That is all about the ng on changes. Now what is the second one we are having? On init. On init is basically what? For the initialization purpose. That means if you wanted to initialize a component, or if you wanted to initialize a directive, or any service call if you people wants to make, then definitely we will be using it.
Sir, this simple change I didn't understand.
One minute. Right. Now you can see the second one is going to be ng on init is available, which will be used for mostly what? Initialization purpose, initializing a component or directive, or else if you wanted to get the data, 90% of the scenario, this is going to be executed only one time, and which is used to fetch the data from the services. In practical, in real time, we will be using this in order to pick. Now you can see initialize the directive or the component after the Angular first display the data bound property and set the data bound input property and all. If nothing is there, called once after the first ng on changes, ng on init is still called even when the ng on changes is not. That means one time only it get execute. It won't execute like multiple times. Now the third one is going to be ng do check, detect and act upon the change that Angular cannot or won't detect by your own. Now you can see custom change detection called immediately when on changes of every change detection and run immediately after ng on init. Now you can see here what I can do. I'll be having ng on changes over here. Okay. Now I'll be doing the next one is going to be what? ng do check is available. Now you can just copy this and then come back here and then you can give ng do check. Let's write console.log. This is ng do check life cycle hook. Life cycle hook, that what I can say. Now let us save this application once. you can see, let us save this application one and then come back here, and you can see automatically the do check will be called or not. You can see the first ng on in it, I mean constructor. And one more important interview question here is that constructor is the part of the life cycle hook. The answer is no. Constructor is a special entity and a life cycle hook will not include that constructor. Constructor is having its own and special execution. It will call automatically. 1 second. Just to detect the changes, what changes are there previously and what are the current changes are there. That kind of changes, if you wanted to go there, you can. Perfect. Okay. Now it is ready. Okay, let it be. Now you can see once if this is going to be executed, then automatically do check. Now you can see when I do any modification, do check is executed or not. See there. And if I do like any modification, do check will also getting executed. You can see that. That is how it is going to be. That means like you should be take care of that one as well. Now that is what they mentioned here. Do check. Detect and act upon the changes that Angular cannot or won't detect by its own, and call immediately after ng on changes on every change detection run, and immediately after that ng on in it on the first run. First time whenever this is executed, then automatically this will get executed, and after that onwards, whenever if the ng on changes is executed, then do check will get executed. Now you can have like, some example might be, you just have a look into that, nothing apart from that one. So change log, you can see there is some example, just to have a look into that one. And like that, you can see ng after content init is available, respond after that Angular project external content into the component view, and ng after content checked after view in it. And it last like, it we have an ng on destroy is available, and here you can see it will call immediately before that Angular destroy the component or a directive. So like that, we have different methods are available. Each method is having its own significant to call it. So you just have a look into this table and practice that example what they have given. That is fine. But most of the time, according to the practical environment, I can say hardly we will be using, hardly, like very much we are using only few. Those are constructor is the one, even though it is not going to be the part, and ng on in it is going to be used, and ng destroy whenever if you wanted to close that particular component or clear particular component, I mean by your own. And the remaining things that what we are having, we do have, but like very rare cases will be, because like without having a proper reason, if you can write them, then it will be an impact on the performance. See, right now I'm doing like a simple modification, then that it's okay. But if it comes to the complex application example, then it will be a huge difference in the performance point of view. So that is the reason. If you don't know that, then simply ignore it. But 90% ng on in it is going to be used constructor and also followed with ng destroy and nothing apart from that one. Okay, so just follow them. Now, anyhow, like my database is ready. So the session is all about like, the very important thing. This is like not that much important, I can say. The important session that what we are pending here is going to be implementing CRUD operations using real-time DB. This is the very important one for us, actually. So to do that one, as I am a .NET developer, so that I can go with the SQL Server. If you are a Java developer, what you can do is you can go with what? Oracle. Now the very first thing what you need to do is you just need to have a table, a database, so that I can create my own DB, and the name of the DB is going to be, let me give a company DB is the one that what I have created here. And database is a collection of tables, definitely I hope you know. So that when I right click and then click on new, then it is asked me to have a table over there. Now the table is going to be having employee number, which is of an integer, and employee name, and the type is going to be varchar, and the third one is the job, and that is also varchar, and fourth one is going to be salary, and the type is going to be money, and the fifth one is going to be the department name, where I can say varchar that what I can give. If you wanted to make it like, nullable, you can, otherwise you can simply ignore them as well. But make sure every table, relational table, should have a primary key set it, so that I can set my primary key over there. Okay. Now you can right click and save this particular table as going to be employee, and then click on OK. And now you can see when I refresh it once again, if you can open the table, there you can see an employee table is available. I'll right click and then edit top 200 rows, so that like we will be having like, now I am giving 101, name as Shrikant, and job as going to be, let's say China, that what I can give, salary 12345, and the department name is IT, and 102, and where I can give some name over there, and the developer that what I can give, and salary 23456, and the department name is IT. I'll be giving 103, and the name is going to be some name I can give, and the position is going to be, let's say, manager or something, and the salary is going to be 34567, and the department is going to be admin. Now if you can right click and execute, this is how the data is. Now what I can do, I'll go to a new query window. Okay, if I'm writing something like select star from the table name, that is going to be employee, same queries only, right? If I execute, now I'm able to see the data over here. Now the requirement is going to be by using a front backend application, because if you can see the diagram that what I have explained to you, the front end will never able to directly communicating with the backend. It never communicating with the backend application, so that, or else like the database, it will communicating with the backend. That's a different story, but it will never communicating with the backend. So for that reason, what I can do, I'll open my Visual Studio. Okay, I'll open my Visual Studio 2022, that what I have installed. And here I'm going to, I have already created that. Anyone from the .NET background here? Anyone from .NET?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please raise your hands. I mean, or else message me. Okay, I'll create a new project. Otherwise, don't need to worry. I'll create a new project. Okay, I'll create a new project here, and the project type is going to be, it's a web API that what I am creating. Okay, a web API that what I am creating, and I just wanted to write something like it in Windows, and after that the programming is going to be C#. I don't want to go with the the core application. Let me go with the web, and ASP.NET. Okay, it was installed only that one. One more thing is missing. Okay. Just wait for a minute. Get down. I can go with the code, but code to know like at least some knowledge around the .NET. But if I'll be going with the framework related, then easily you can understand. That is only the thing that what I am going to install this one as well. But here, the thing is the front end, as it is not able to communicating with the backend database, we need to have a backend application. The way how I am creating the DB, you people have to create your own database and create a table. And here the fields, that's up to you. I'm just writing something like this, but whatever the fields you guys wants to maintain, you can. Whatever the table you wanted to maintain, you can. And after that, what you can do is create a web service. Generally, what you are creating, Spring MVC, right? Spring MVC or Spring Boot or whatever. I don't know that exactly what kind of application it is. It is a web application? But we have the web services are available for you guys. Create a web service, that to RESTful web service. Don't create like normal. If you can create like, that XML related, that is SOAP related web services, then you have to take the responsibility of doing serialization and deserialization. What is serialization stands for? Converting object into the JSON. Deserialization is JSON into the object format. So if you can use the SOAP will by default, it will give the data in XML format. SOAP, simple object access protocol, will give the data in the form of XML, and XML is not holding like, or else like XML data is not compatible for the Angular and React application. So the data must be in the form of JSON. So that is the reason, if you wanted to create a SOAP, then you have to take care of, serialization and deserialization at the same time, both. Suppose like if you are taking RESTful web services, then you need not to do anything. Okay, then you need not to do anything, just to keep that in mind. Now that is the reason where I'm going to create a simple RESTful web service for me. Let me go to the create new project, and where what I can do, I'll be taking, you see, ASP.NET Web Development. Let's click on the next. And here, the name of that application is going to be Web API, CRUD, that what I can give. And the location that what I wanted to store it is going to be, let's go to the PC, D drive, Angular session, Angular 15, where I'm going to have it over there. And then click on create. Then it will show you like, different things for me. But I'll be selecting a simple RESTful web API. Now you can see a project template for creating RESTful HTTP services that can reach broad range of clients, including browser and mobiles. Now I'm selecting that. Now I don't want to configure any HTTPS and all, because if you wanted to configure that, you should have what? A proper certificate need to be installed, and that you can get it at the time of purchasing the domain. Okay, it's not the part of this training. I'll be selecting that and I click on create, so that automatically it get created. And also I'm not writing any code here, where I'm using some scaffolding option, because as I told you, we are not targeting any backend application. It's all about like we are going to execute the front end. Front end part is important for us. So I'm not targeting any kind of backend it over here. Right. Now what I can do is, I'll be right click on the models folder, click on add. I'm going to add, let's say, a new item. Otherwise, let's do one thing. I'll select ADO.NET Entity Data Model, where I just wanted to give company DB, and then click on add. Now I'll be using from that existing database, and then let's go to the new connection window. I'll select Microsoft SQL Server and click on continue, where it is asked me to give the server name. I'm giving the dot, and the DB name is going to be company DB. Let me test the connection. Connection succeeded, and then click on OK. And say next, next. It will show you like, the retrieving database connection. And the same concept, I hope you guys are having it in Hibernate. Do you have it in Hibernate? In Hibernate? Not yet done or? Not yet done. Okay. This is ORM tool actually, object relational mapping tool. What it will do is, you generally like in JDBC, you write like the methods to connect with the DB and get the data and performing all the CRUD operations, right? All that is going to be simplified in the ORM tool. You need not to write any methods in order to connect with the DB and all. It's an automated process. By using that ORM tool only, we can do that one. That is all about this one. Like that, entity Dapper is a tool. Dapper. I hope like that you will be understand. Dapper is like, it's a third party one, which is compatible for like, Java and .NET both. Hibernate is compatible. Hibernate or NHibernate compatible only for Java. Entity framework compatible for only .NET. But there is a tool that is what we call it as Dapper. Sorry, Dapper is the tool which is compatible for .NET and Java, both that application. I hope like that might be discussed. I'm not sure. It's all about. Okay, don't show this message. Okay, now it is taken a minute, not more than that. Seems today we can build only the front end, back end. We'll talk about the front end tomorrow. But tomorrow, like, we'll finish everything. Don't worry. Right. Now you can just go and build the solution. I'll go and build my solution. Why? Let's go to the view solution explorer. Controller, add a controller with the entity framework. Just a minute, I'll regenerate everything. Let us clean the solution and then build. Okay. Right click, add ADO.NET entity data model. And the model is going to be company DB. Company DB. Okay. From that existing DB. Okay. I'm selecting the table. I don't have any views and stored procedures, so that it is not required. I'll say finish. Again, there is a problem. Okay, I'll check about this later. Okay, maybe tomorrow, like we'll see the whole application, end-to-end application. And then following with, I'll explain you a project, a simple project where it cover like all the concepts together. So far, like after every 5 concept, like I created a simple application. But now tomorrow, like what I can do is I have an application which was created, I guess, Angular 11, I guess 11 or 12, maybe. I'll just show you like, how that application is and how it get executed. But I created for that the backend as .NET only because I don't have any expertise in Java. So if you guys wants to create the same thing in like, the backend, I will share you the source code completely to you. So by following that, you can create it in the Java. Same application, you can replicate it in Java and connect with the front end. Front end, you need not to change anything. If you can create properly the backend, then front end would be remain same. So that is how I made that application. A simple connection string changes that you can do, but that also at configuration level can that I show it tomorrow. So tomorrow would be the last day. So if you have any doubts, so please be ready with the doubt. And tomorrow I can spend you like the whole time. By start at 7:30 to till 9 o'clock, I'll be available. And even after, if you have any doubt, you just connect me on this Saturday. Saturday I'll come and I'll be available here. You just come and connect with me. Don't worry. Okay. Leave for the day. I'll fix all those things today. Thank you and have a nice day. Unable to join WhatsApp. What